Hi all, how you doing? Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. So we had huge controversy in the World Championships, the Bridge World Championships a few days ago. This is between the USA team and the Denmark team. Okay, so this is a post on Bridge Winners. It's entitled "A Day in Buenos Aires," and it's got about 200 comments on it. So yesterday, so October the 29th is posting this, so it happened on the 28th. Yesterday, I played in the knockout of the World Bridge Games in Buenos Aires. My partner was a talented young player playing in his first World Championships. Our opponents, a very experienced international pair, were playing some, for us, unusual methods. And in board three, my young partner asked about a bid. His screen mate called the TD to ask if he really had to explain the bid. This did not make it easier for my partner, who did not understand the problem and felt uncomfortable about the situation. In a later session, our teammates played East-West against the same pair, and this happened. Okay, so this is the board. Let me find it now. Board 25. Okay, so it's this board here. So this is the board, and the bidding went. Okay, the bidding. Oops. So the bidding opened three diamonds, pass, three hearts. Okay, so three diamonds opener, three hearts from south. Um, Double, pass, pass, then three no trumps. So it went double, pass, pass, three no trumps. Um, Double again. North pulled it to four diamonds. Okay. Double by double by right hand. Pass, left hand now bid five diamonds. Pass, east now bid five hearts. Pass, west now bid five no trumps. Pass, hesitation, east bid six clubs. And then west converted it to six spades. And then that eventually made. And then the director was called. Okay, so that's the bidding, made 12 tricks. So explanation of the free heart bid, explain as a transfer to free spades, could be different hand types. Two, so free no trumps, explain as a suggestion to play no trumps if diamond has a good, if partner has a good diamond suit. Okay, so if North has a good diamond suit, what's the definition of a good diamond suit here? Three, unclear to East if this was pick a slam or key card ask. Okay, the five no trump bid, and hence the hesitation. After 1 minute, 24 seconds, easy to establish with tablets. Okay, so they're playing on tablets. So the bids entered in, they can work out how long certain people take to make their bids. After the contract made, South was very angry with East West and called the director, claiming there was UI. Long pause after five no trumps. So UI, unauthorized information. Okay, so if you think for a while, then you've got to be thinking about something. And what is that thought process? Does it indicate that you may be thinking about bidding spades or something like that, or you've got a difficult bid kind of thing? Because South was so upset, the TD could not establish facts. And the TD said he would return when South had calmed down. This is also very unpleasant for our players, especially East was very shaken when they had to play the next board. When the TD returned, he decided that the pause of 1 minute 24 seconds was enough to change the score to six clubs minus two, deciding the match. Okay, so this is the last 16, and basically Denmark were ahead at the end, but with the match result being changed for this board, they lost the match. Okay, I feel that North South, after making two cycles of conventional calls, so you can clearly see that North opening three diamonds, South really doesn't have anywhere to go. And if they were playing just normally, would just pass. Okay, but it's not illegal to make a sight. Clearly, with this South hand, you're thinking that East West have a slam most likely in spades when you've got a doubleton spade. Okay, so it rather looks like there's a slam on their way. So hence the bidding. Um, Not even Gear Helgamo or Joe Grue, both very quick and sharp, would be able to work out exactly what was going on after five no trumps in less than 20 seconds. Just for the record, I have no problem with people psyching. I think it's an important part of the game, and I frequently psych. Overall, I'm very unhappy with the behavior of our opponents in these situations. This is exactly how bridge should not be played, and I would love to see more top players behaving as role models. The WEF states over and over that good behavior towards opponents and partner is essential for the WBF, and that bad behavior will not be tolerated in any way. I recently spent a lot of time and money arranging international events in my home country and in the hope that it can help promoting our game to new players. Should there be any new international events coming up in Denmark, I hope that the NBOs will consider that who they are sending to represent their country, so that I and all the other volunteers can be proud of helping to arrange these events. Obviously, my feeling right now is that this international pair would not fit the bill. I'm aware that, and I respect that there will be plenty of different views on this matter, and there are, but mine should now be very clear. Finally, I would like to recommend the WBT events where the participants and TDs try to play a game with minimum TD calls. I've played in most of them, and I think the organisers have succeeded in creating events that are much more fun to play in while still being tough competitions. So it's got 190 comments. I'm obviously not going to go through all of them because it'll take me hours and hours just reading all the comments and stuff. Um, but what I will say is, there's quite a lot of people in here who are high profile people. Also, the players will actually comment as well in here as well. So it's well worth a read. Michael Rosenberg has quite a bit to say. He's an American player. And I think there's quite a lot of, to some extent, there's some sort of USA versus everyone else kind of divide going a little bit in the comments, I would say. And people feeling that the USA team um maybe get rewarded. Sorry, not rewarded, but they get the decisions by the TDs. I think some people feel that way. Um so yeah, you can see there's a lot of comment. There are a lot of players like Paul Bowden, Mike Bell, a lot of top players in here. But Michael Rosenberg does say quite a lot of comments in here. Um, Now, one of the things that they talk about is the five no Trump bid, and they talk about the Sykes as well. And I'm not sure that's has much relevance if I'm honest with you. But the five no Trump bid. So if I'm going to the right card, I assume it's this Morten Bilde who's actually playing. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if I've got it wrong, it doesn't make any sense in what I'm about to say. But I think it's Morten Bilde who's actually playing. So it says here, high level bidding, Roman keycard Blackwood 1430. Cubid, Splinter, Dopey, Voidwood. So it doesn't actually mention five no trumps as pick a slam on their system. So when they bid when they bid five no trumps here, they're playing 1430. So to me, if they're playing it and also the last bid was hearts, if you bid five no trumps and then they bid um six clubs, to me that's just showing one key card. And it's all about hearts because he's asked about hearts, I think. So it's gone five no trumps, six clubs to show one ace. They don't play pick a slam. So I don't know why that didn't kind of come up because they don't. It says on the card that it doesn't mention pick a slam. It does mention Roman key card, and some people do play five no trumps when you've got at an auction that's quite like this, it can't five no trumps can be asking for aces. Okay, I know some of you don't know that one, but yeah, five no trumps can be asking for aces. Now the other thing, they're playing on tablets. Okay, now West and South can sort of see and talk to each other. I'm not sure if they're playing tablets actually at the table or in like hotel rooms or something like that. But I have a feeling that they are actually at the table judging by the comments that the South exploded. So I think they're playing on tablets at the table, right? Um, so West and South can like talk to each other, but they can't talk to North and East. So North and East can talk to each other. So when When the bids come back to south or west, the north and east bit, from my little understanding of how this works, when north or east makes a bid, so if north makes a bid, it doesn't show up to west or south straight away. It only shows up. It only shows up when east has made their bid to south and west. That's what I think. The idea being is that you don't know who has hesitated. So North could have hesitated and then taken ages over the bid, and East could have bid very quickly, and vice versa. So in this case, it's vice versa. East has taken ages to bid. Okay, but the point is, West and South don't know who has hesitated, in theory. Okay, now judging by the way the bidding's gone, it's highly unlikely that North will have taken ages to pass five no trumps. I mean, you could argue that West would be saying, oh, maybe North was taking a while to, and then decided to not to bid six diamonds or something like that. I mean, that hasn't come up. Okay, so nobody's mentioned that really, but that is another possibility here, albeit a very slim one. So yeah, there's lots of comments in here. It's well worth a read. And if I'm going to go right down to the bottom because that's where the players kind of come in, and I'll just so you've got like people like Kit Woolsey saying stuff. Now he says there's no question that West had unauthorized information, an 84-second huddle. So this is the point that I was trying to make there. You don't know if it's North or East who's potentially hesitating. It's clear UI that East has a big problem over five no trumps. That cannot be in dispute. What might be in dispute is what the problem was. And it is my opinion that if East had a five-card club suit, he would not have that kind of a problem bidding six clubs. Thus, my conclusion that the UI suggests that six clubs spade call. You can feel free to disagree, of course. That the UI suggests a six spade call. Right, yeah. Um, Joe Grew. Okay, so this is one of the players, I presume, right? Additional point. Why does North bid? So he's just answering some of the questions here. Additional point. Why does North bid three spades holding support for the suit? This is a question that TD should ask, I would hope. Forgive me because I don't know how to do all of this copy pasted stuff on my phone. But I told my opponent when I passed three hearts doubled that if I had bid three spades, I would have four of them. Because if my partner has spades, I want him to play it. But more importantly, the most common hand type when partner bids three hearts is the invitational three no trump bid. If this auction gets competitive, I want my partner to know I have 4-6 or 4-7 shape. Also, to comment to the other point Lars made about not giving information to our ops, that's laughable. To me, to hear that, I want to hear one person tell me I give bad explanations. And for the record, I've seen the psych of three no trumps, as has everyone else in the world, over a preempt. I have never seen my partner psych this bid. We rarely out and out psych. We play a very aggressive system, and I spend 10 minutes reminding the pairs we play of things we do that's different. I also share with them over and over the logic behind why we do things a certain way, so that way they can be more comfortable. Our system is really good. It takes a lot of work and practice to remember all the stuff we play. I assure anyone out there that we play this stuff because it's great, not because we want to confuse people. I think the best way to play is to be the first person to open the bidding and bid within whatever parameters we set. If that means we open balance 9 counts, white versus red, so be it. Okay, so that's what they do. Feel free to ask players who gives the best explanations of what inferences you can take against us. We bend over backwards to make sure of it. I would like to see, so a lot of people have already commented that they do explain their bidding systems over and above board. I'd like to see the video of the first set that Morten claims either one of us acted badly towards him and his partner. I thought it always a pleasant match until the director call. And also I'm hurt and offended by some comments on him. Some by Morten, but mostly by others in here. To say that Brad and me are a strange match, yeah, some people said that, that one of us is way better than the other is ridiculous. Brad's the best player I've ever played with, but I'll admit that when the director is called to the table, Brad sometimes raises his voice louder than it needs to be. But I basically agree with Morton that I wish players wouldn't call a director all the time. I wish players to be nameless this tourney. I wish players to be nameless. This tourney wouldn't always say no agreement when they know what they play in simple auctions. That's nobody in the Denmark team. Okay, yeah. So a lot of people don't want to give over information that they actually know what the partner's playing. Okay, so he's basically saying there that people say we've got no agreement when they actually do have an agreement. I can tell you I'm the least likely person to call a director. I'm also the least likely person when somebody drops a card on the table and revokes or plays a king under an ace to take it. I take those things only against players that I've seen taking it from others. All this being said, I still like Morton and the guys we had the issue with on one hand. I played juniors against them and I've always liked them. Casper is the sweetest guy in the bridge world, and I hope Morton and me and Brad can discuss this in a more relaxed setting someday. Thanks, Joe. Okay, Joe Grew. To answer Wayne's questions about the bids, three hearts over three diamonds is a puppet to three spades, and had they not doubled three hearts, and I bid three spades. Partner now can bid three no trumps invitational. Vol dependent, but basically I'm white on this deal, and I told Casper that when I bid four diamonds denied, have diamonds that can run opposite partner having of ace X or king X of diamonds. I would pass three no trumps if I had queen jack to six diamonds and a side ace as well. I told him. Okay, so he's going to assume that partner's got at least ace X or king X. Now, if Brad's bid four major instead of three no trumps, that shows usually six cards in that major and a fit in diamonds. Choice of games between four major and five diamonds. If Brad bids four minor, that's a slam try natural. Over three diamonds, we play three spades shows both majors. I hope this answers your questions. Three hearts is most time invitation to three no trumps. Okay. Andrew Black's made a comment. Actually, let's just read it. Is this a hill to die on? It does look fairly automatic to roll back to six clubs. And culture clashes of this type are all part of the game in international bridge. So that's what I say, actually, culture clashes. So some people are assuming that five no trumps is pick a slam. It might not be in their culture. That's the point. That's why it needs discussing, because certain bids people play, certain parts of the world, like Europe or USA or South America, will play different things because things get caught on in different parts of the world. And they play more common systems in one part of the country than another. It sounds like your American opponent should definitely tone it down in what is an international event, but he hasn't broken any rules. I have sympathies because it's automatic, in my opinion, for your partner to think for a while at that point, particularly given the muddying of the waters. So this is the thing, is because of the psychs have happened, people have got sympathy um, for the time taken about what the hell is basically going on in the auction. And then others are sort of saying, well, you're using the psych as an excuse to take your time over something and get on UI, okay, unauthorized information. I'm just going to go down further because there's try and find the other comments by the players. I can see it's a very long post, one of the longest, and some of it gets quite heated actually. Where's that bit that gets? I don't think it's that bit. Um, Maybe I've missed it actually. Yeah, I mean, some people start calling each other. Like Joe Grew. I really don't want to discuss the important hand. To discuss Brad's questions to the directors during the first quarter regarding what should be alerted and should be explained via tablet. In the USA trials, you had to alert and explain for every bid, and you weren't allowed to ask the op about an alert that happened from the other side of the table. Okay. Brad just wanted clarifications to what he had to ask or explain. He wanted to avoid asking an inappropriate question to his opponent. He was bending over backwards to not put his op into a bad spot. He didn't want to ask him a question if he wasn't allowed to. I really like everyone in Denmark. They're all great guys. So yeah, that's the thing. It's very difficult. You don't want to impart information or something by sometimes actually asking the question. You can be sort of imparting some information. So yeah, I mean, just going to the director can impart info, can give information away and stuff like that. So it's really difficult sometimes, and that's what Moss was trying to kind of avoid. So he wasn't purposely going out of his way not to answer the question. Okay, Morten Bilde, so he's come back. Before leaving Argentina, I will clarify. At no point do I claim in my post that the ruling is wrong. Two, I suggest more leeway for players than 20 seconds in high-level competitive auctions. So maybe some more ruling will come into this when the bids get more complicated. Maybe you'll have more time. So obviously that means more hesitation as well because you won't be able to bid quickly. So I urge top players to try to act as a role model regarding behavior at the table. For those interested in rulings, keep in mind East-West were both unsure of the meaning of five no trumps. East was never asked what he thought five no trumps was. West suggested several meanings when asked. When I get home, I'll try to read all comments and answer any questions to me. Michael Rosenberg says small stuff. Yeah. Until 2015, the greatest bane at the top level of our game was cheating via code. Okay, so we've obviously had the coughing incidents and the way the boards move. They move the boards on the table and stuff like that to show spades, hearts, clubs, and stuff like that. And that's why they brought in the tablets to get rid of that kind of thing. Thank you, boy, and many others. I see the greatest bane of our game as the creation and the taking advantage of UI. Okay, yeah, it's difficult. Okay, because like, you see it at clubs and people don't know what they've done wrong. Where they hesitate when they've got an ace or they're thinking about something, or they might hesitate to pretend they've got the missing trump queen. That kind of thing. It is and long has been far more prolific than cheating via code ever was. Yeah, that's very true. I had a partner actually who was um she hesitated for ages, like, a couple of minutes, then passed. And I was always going to bid on with my hand. But after my partner's hesitation, I basically had to pass. I couldn't go on when I wanted to. So it was really when you put in a spot by your partner because they've hesitated for such a long time. Oh, I'm just gonna let the dog out. You coming out? Yeah, so you can be put in a spot by your partner. And this is why sometimes you can't hesitate because if you hesitate, then and if you take advantage of that hesitation or you make a bid that isn't justified within your hand, then you're just going to get the tournament director called on you and you get it rolled back. So there's like no point in bidding because you're just going to lose out to the tournament director. I am perhaps passionate in wanting to, as far as possible, eradicate this from our game and to minimize it otherwise. Okay, yeah, I agree. When I first read the OP, my reaction was, this is an attempt to embarrass South? But what it actually does more clearly is to embarrass West. I think to imply that the greater problem for our game is behavior, which of course is a general issue in itself, or controlling bluffing, which I don't think ought to be an issue, with the caveat that partnership history discussion needs to be disclosed rather than UI, which consistently infiltrates our game, is a grave error. when I see important names and people with gravitas suggesting otherwise, I react strongly. Here we had what I see as a clear case where blatant advantage was taken of UI. It's not completely clear, like I said. West doesn't know if North or East has hesitated. So he could be, North could have hesitated, East could have bid very quickly, and then West could have um, potentially, he doesn't know who's hesitating. Absolutely. Okay. Not only did the player not bend over backwards to avoid taking advantage, as one should, but few do. Okay, so that's what I do, I'd like to say. If my partner hesitates, then I'm just going to have to pass, basically. And then, so that's what I tend to do. And then I have a go at my partner for hesitating for so bloody long. If you hesitate for so long, you have to kind of take action sometimes. As long as you make an action, then that's fine, kind of thing, a lot of the time. So it's usually about passing after hesitation, but here obviously it's a different thing where you've got a choice of bids between six clubs and something else. So hesitating clearly you had a choice between bids. That is the whole point of this argument. They did the opposite and attempted to take maximum advantage. So if my comment seems caustic, it's not out of lack of respect. It's because I think that this case is so clear. It's because I want all people with gravitas to be on the same page. If they can't do it for this case, I despair that things will ever improve. So the thing is, I think if he bids, the thing about the last bid was hearts, so West should probably bid six hearts rather than six spades. If he bids six hearts, he's probably okay because he's like bid Roman key card, found one ace, and then just passed it in six hearts. Although that doesn't make any sense either, because maybe he should be on his way to seven, because they've got all the key cards. If we have a look at the hand, yeah, he's not missing any key cards, and he's got the ace, he's got all the key cards. Brad Moss. Okay, so Brad Moss, one of the South player. Hello all. This is all very confusing to me with regard to calling the director. Morten says that was me trying to avoid giving an explanation. That is completely untrue and a reckless statement from someone who I've always considered a friend. In fact, the opposite was true. What transpired was I asked for an explanation from my screenmate, who was nothing but pleasant the whole set, and who is unsure as protocols are different in the USBF, ACBL, and WBF. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to ask Morten for the information, and most of all, I didn't want to put my friend in a situation where he felt compelled to give me info I wasn't entitled to. So I called for the director to explain the situation to me. Once the director told me that no communication was permitted across the screens, I thanked him and never brought it up again. As far as the committee hand goes, I believe the facts speak for themselves, and I will take the high road because there's a lot I could say about what the player in question said at the time and in an earlier moment as well. Okay, thank you, Brad. And the last thing I'd like to say, hopefully a more positive way for me to end this, the talented young player Morten referred to was not only a pleasure at the table, but I thought he played brilliantly. I'm sure he'll be winning lots of events in the years to come. Okay, and Brink, if you play round of 16 of World Championships, it's its highest level. You should compete versus the best, and you did. If you play with an inexperienced player, great, you made it this far. But please, from own experience, I super liked to play the best when I was inexperienced. That made my game better. Anyway, this is a pair who works constantly to improve their game. I had myself the pleasure to play in round 8, 3-6 sessions versus this pair. I just want to tell you my experience. It is a pair who has ethics very high in standards. They explain everything. So they're talking about Moss and Grue here. They explain everything, and they usually tell also the history of the pair. Like it is 14-16, but this position very likely 13 will become upgraded. That they like to improve bridge by playing two systems makes bridge more professional. They're taking bridge to a higher level. In every sport, you need to have people who dare to do new things. to develop the sport. This is a pair who is front runner. So instead of what people think of destroying this sport, they're the pair who make the sport alive. The last remark of who is welcome in Denmark, I can just say my feelings. This is a pair who should be most welcome of all pairs in the world. Let's end this conversation. I understand it is annoying to lose on an appeal, and especially when in the board the opponent's psych, but that is bridge. Okay, so if you want to read that, I'll leave the comments in the description. Sorry, the link in the description, and you can have a look at it all for yourself. There's quite some interesting stuff in there. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think the adjustment was right? Let me know in the comments. Or anything else about bridge, let me know.